This bottle from Hard Truth has popped up on multiple Best of 2024 lists. Really? Hard Truth? It's the truth. But is it my truth? From one dummy to another one. Stay with us and check it out. Hello and welcome back to Drams for Dummies. I am the numero uno king dummy who makes a crown like this, I guess. Brett, thanks for joining us. This is the channel made for dodos like me, for dodos like you that just love the juice but don't know all the ins and the outs and the whys and the whats, and certainly aren't great at the tasting notes or the nosing notes. So why do we create a channel? Because I'm a dummy. And I'm the numero uno dummy. I'm the biggest one. You're at some other level of dummy, well below me, I'm sure. But thanks for being here. Today we have this really intriguing bottle. This is Hard Truth. This is their Master Distillers. Hold on, I got to get the bottle. I might have to get my glasses too. We'll see. Master Distillers Reserve Sweet Mash Ryes. So Hard Truth, newer to the scene. Started distilling their own stuff, I want to say, in 2015, 16, 17, really small. They've ramped up very quickly. They've got a pretty big operation going now, but they do the Sweet Mash Ryes. That's kind of their big thing, and they've got some different types of ryes. So what this is a Master Distillers bottle, 2024 edition, where they take their three, oh man, my glasses. They take their three different rye mash bills. They have a chocolate malt, a caramel malt, and a malted rye. Those are their three rye mash bills. And then they blend them in some different proportions, which I don't really want to try to read. I think it's 20, 50, 30. That doesn't mean anything to you. Doesn't matter. And this has got 115 proof. And so I on their site they say it's aged, everything's aged at least over 5 years, so 5 or more years. And what else do we need to know about this? Yeah, I saw this pop. I mean, I've had the Hard Truth barrel pick from Stuff and Whiskey, and it's in the old pantry over there right now, and it is really good. So that was my first introduction to Hard Truth. So then, in just kind of perusing the end of year list that have came out towards the end of December, into January, this popped up at least twice on different lists that I kind of perused, and so then it just went on my if I see it list. I wasn't going to necessarily go out of my way to find it on, pay over MSRP or anything like that. But lo and behold, very soon after we're on the list, went into my favorite store, Bubbles, in here, right by me. That's my favorite store. You got to have a favorite store, local, hopefully, be there all the time. That's how you get the hookup. But this didn't need a hookup. It was just sitting on the shelf because, again, Hard Truth, newer, doesn't have the cachet of some of the other brands yet. Especially maybe here in the Kansas City area. It's just people are kind of sleeping on it a little bit. So I'm excited to jump in this with you. Let's rock and roll and see if this Hard Truth Master Distiller Reserve Sweet Mash Rye 2024 edition is really all that and a bag of chips. Speaking of chips, haven't had dinner yet. Classic Brett. Classic dumb move. Haven't eaten most of the day. Did have a couple of donuts, so that's healthy. A lot of coffee. So it's been a really healthy day. I figure I'd top it off with some bourbon with you guys. So we're going to get the hashtag bourbon burps are going to come up here at some point because drinking on the empty stomach does that. But it's worth it to have good juice with good dumb friends like you. Cheers. Let me know in the comments, what are you drinking down there? Do you have this on hand? Or do you have a different Hard Truth? Have you had any Hard Truth experience with Hard Truth other than the Hard Truth that we experience every day in life? And recently, here in the old States, A lot of hard truths hitting fast and furious, but that's a whole different conversation for a whole different day. So let's see what we got on the nose. Really nice. I'm going to take a little sip. Sip will inform the nose. Really nice. It's not over peppery. It's not over spicy, but it definitely has a lot of complexity, and it's got that kind of rye spice in there. It's got a nice oakiness to it on first blush. I'd say it's sitting right in a middle range of, if you're thinking about noses, you've got your real sweet, punchy, bright, fruity, and then you've got your really deep, rich, earthy, darker noses. This is right in the middle, where it's got a little bit of all of it. So far, at first blush, really well done. It's, like I said, you got some of that kind of, I got a little savory note on the bottom of that, like the underside of that nose. But you do have a lot of creamy sweet on top. It's not bright, punchy, ultra sugar, ultra fruity by any stretch, but that kind of confectionery, creamy, meringue, whipped kind of custardy sweet. But then again, you get some of that pepper, and you get some of that spice, and some of that oak, and some of that complexity. I mean, the rye comes out, but the sweet and the creamy in there is really interesting. Different every time. That's high quality. That's complex. That makes me happy. This feels like you're getting all the notes, but it's blended so well that nothing's really punching out. It's just a little bit, it's all kind of in a nice, savory, creamy, sweet, peppery level. Really good. I'm going 9 on the nose. That's a very good, I don't know what I labeled it. Good is 7. Really good. Amazing? An amazing nose? I should probably go back and look at my whole chart, and let's see what we're doing here on the palate. Okay. A lot going on there. There's a lot to digest there. I don't know if I can really give a whole lot of thoughts. I will say the first impression, and I don't know if that means anything, but the very first impression was that we came down from the nose a little bit. We got a little bit, I want to say, muddled, maybe. Some of the everything blended really nice in the nose, but there was a lot of levels. I feel like the palate kind of got in there and it just became a little jumbled feeling. This maybe doesn't mean anything to you guys at all, so let's give it another drink here and see what it's doing this time. Nose is still really good, though. Different that time. That time felt just, we lose some of the brighter, punchy, creamy sweet on the top that's in the nose. We're not getting that in the palate. We're getting much more of a I won't say heavy, deeper, richer palate than the nose was telling us. There's a little disconnect there. I don't love when things are disconnected, but I do like when things are interesting. So at this point, I'm still kind of undecided on this palate, but I think the second drink was better than the first drink. None of them have been bad by any stretch. I would say some of what I'm wrestling with is the complexity of the blend, just trying to just my palate trying to decide what the heck's going on and decide if I like it. But let's get one more drink and let's get a score on it. Okay. It just gets better each time, which is great. And maybe I'm just getting my legs under me. It's nice and viscous. It fills the mouth pretty darn well. I'm not going to say it's great, but as soon as it gets in there, you can feel it, doing its thing. You can start to taste it because it's got enough depth of flavor in there. You can taste it before as you're just rolling it around. You haven't even swallowed it yet. And I love that. Yeah, and I would say that the flavor is it's kind of a nutty, rich, oaky. It's got some of that rye pepper in there, but it all kind of comes down into a deeper, richer level, which I like. Kind of feels very wintry to me. Kind of feels like you want to have a fire going, have your sweater on. It feels rich. It feels deep. It feels a little muddled. It feels a little like you're drinking something good, but you can't quite figure. Hashtag bourbon burps. I told you there's the first one, and there's a second one. But it's like it kind of loses some of what I feel like the nose was promising of some lots of different layers blended all nice together, each coming out a little differently at different times. That's what's happening in the nose. I feel like it all kind of gets into a rich, deep, vibrant palate that sort of just I can't pull it apart. It feels like a kind of a muddled, I don't want to say mess, but just kind of like a blob of good bourbon, if that makes any sense. I'm going to give the palate a 7. All right, so we got a 9 on the nose so far. We've got a 7 on the palate, a good palate, kind of muddled. Let's see if the finish. I'm going to give another drink so I can give that finish score. If I'm loving what it's putting down. The finish is really nice. It runs. I had to kind of sit there for a second. May have edited that. I edit a lot of my hums and haws, and you don't need to see all of the sniffs and the swirls and the smells and the weird faces I make. But I had to kind of sit there and just let that experience happen, which to me is also great. But let me give it one more pass, and then we'll see what the score is on this, and then we'll wrap her all up. The nose is the best part. That's a really good finish. Right as you go into the finish, and again, back of palate, start of finish, I mean, I don't know where to draw the line, where that's all happening. But whether you want to say the back end of the palate kind of kicks up and redeems itself, or that front end of the finish is like something else starts to happen. And I feel like some of the layers of the nose come out at the start of the finish, if that makes any sense. So I feel like as you're kind of swallowing it down, as that finish is starting to kind of go, then it's like there's a different set of, like a different experience that's kind of happening right there that's fun. So that's fun, and then it runs for a long time, and it never turns harsh, it never gets bitter. It's really, really nice. That's an 8 finish. Again, there's no halves here to make this complex. Final score time. Hard Truth Master Distiller Reserve 2024 on the best of list for many people. I give it a 9 on the nose, a freaking amazing nose. I give it a 7 on the palate for being a little bit muddled, good. Nothing wrong with it. It's a good 7 palate, but it just turns into kind of a blob of good stuff that you can't really pull apart. It just sort of gets there and doesn't do a lot. It just sort of goes, yep, we're good. And then we kind of go to the finish, but then the finish goes, but here's that interest from the nose coming back in the finish. And then we're going to let that thing run for a while to make sure you really get your money's worth off this drink. So that's an 8. That's a really damn good finish, whatever the heck I've labeled 8, but it's real dang good. So 9, 7, 8. I don't have to get my calculator out for this one. I've split the difference. It's an 8 bottle, which is a really damn good bottle. 8. So this is I think easily an 8 bottle. And for the price point, 60, 70, 80, whatever. I think it's more than a good value to get a unique bottle that with a unique set of mash bills from a unique company who's going to give you an experience that you probably really haven't had before exactly. And it's going to challenge your palate like it did mine and make it either have to grow and figure some things out or, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's different. It's fun. It's a really good bottle. Hard Truth, Master Distiller Series Reserve, Master Distillers Reserve 2024. Really good. 8. Thanks for joining me, guys. Appreciate you. Stick around for the next one. Go back and watch some old ones. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Share it with your friends. Do all the things. Love you.